Well, good morning, Rosanna.
Morning.
It's very nice to have a chance to talk with you because I have been following your career. And of course, most recently, we've had Desperately Seeking Susan, which I thought was a terrific film, and you were so good in it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your performance. And then I was happy to see you doing Silverado because, boy, it's like 180 degrees, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot different. I did it back to back. I had 2 days in between movies.
So you finished Susan?
And went right into rehearsals for Silverado. I went right to Santa Fe and rehearsed Silverado and then went to work.
So taking Silverado then, you consciously took something that was entirely different.
Oh, yeah. That's what I want to do. I'm an actress and I like doing characters. So I like doing different kinds of people. I'm going to be starting a movie in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be playing a call girl with Hal Ashby and Jeff Bridges. Hal Ashby directing and Jeff Bridges.
What is the name of that?
Called 8 Million Ways to Die. It's a very dramatic movie.
Yes. Now, I wonder, what did your agent, did he or she encourage you to do Silverado? And what I'm getting at, Rosanna, is the fact that it's,
No.
the agents didn't want you to do it?
They didn't want me to do it because they thought it was a nice movie, but they thought it was kind of a small part. And I wanted to do it because I wanted to work with Larry Kasdan, and I liked the cast, and I just wanted to be part of it. I go for the role. I don't go for the size of it.
Well, and also it's an entirely different look at what Rosanna Arquette does and can do. So was that part of your decision?
That's what I like to do. I like to do I like to do characters. So it's nice to be seen in different lights. I mean, I was known as like a very dramatic actress, and I started doing comedy, and now a lot of people know that I can do comedy, and now I can do drama and comedy, and I'm an actress. That's what I like to do.
Your whole life has changed quite a lot, hasn't it, in the last year?
Yeah, it has.
Because you're on record as talking now about having gone through the drug rehab program.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? Was it somebody or something that led you to that?
It was somebody. It was a very close friend of mine who had a very bad problem, and I went through a program with them. And through that, I mean, I didn't have a drug problem. I wasn't like strung out, but I did smoke marijuana and drink, champagne and stuff like that. And through that, I learned a lot, and I decided that I didn't want to do anything for my life. So I choose not to do it. But I don't judge people who do, because it's not my place to judge them,
But let's say, a group of friends are sitting around and smoking a joint or snorting some coke or whatever. Then can you sit there and,
It doesn't bother me at all. It's very easy for me to not do it. I know a lot of people who are really bad, had very bad problems and quit, and like they just start sweating, they can't do it, and they leave. But I don't like to put myself in those kinds of situations anyway. I mean, I don't go to a lot of parties and all those kinds of things. I think that it gives you a false intimacy, it's fake. They think they're very creative. It messes with your judgment. So I just choose not to do it.
Are you happier now?
Yeah, I am actually. Life is hard anyway, and so to cover it up, your problems with a drink or a joint, and to cover that up is you have to deal with things. It's nice to deal with things straight, and sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes life just is not. It's like I had a terrible day today, so I had a terrible day today. But doesn't mean you have to drink it. It's like to make it feel better, because it really ends up not making you feel better. You feel worse in the morning,
Is it better for you then just to stay totally away, or would you have a glass of champagne occasionally? None.
Not at all. First of all, I'm not good with alcohol anyway. I mean, I was the person, if I had one beer, I was dancing with a lampshade on my head. I can't drink at all. So it physically didn't make me feel good at all. I just couldn't. I never could handle alcohol. But I used to smoke a lot of marijuana, and I just don't do anything. I'm just straight.
What then do you say to young people? And I'm thinking of real young people, Rosanna, because, see, people look up to you, and, I mean, you're so talented, and your career is going so great.
It's hard because I don't want to I don't suggest, I'm not going to say you shouldn't take drugs, because, it's not a good road to go on. Drugs are detrimental to your health, and in the long run, they can get you to a lot of trouble. Because, you know, people say, oh, but I just smoke pot. But if you're high on marijuana, and it really is true, someone offers you something else, your judgment will go, okay, I'll try that. And when you're really young, it's, you know, kids, it's a hip thing to do, but you know what? It's starting to be a very unhip thing to do. And that, I mean, most of the people that I know that were really into that are really, these people that were really into drugs are like totally straightened out.
Getting back to Silverado, which I think is going to be an enormous hit. Are you getting those vibes?
I hope so. I think it's a neat movie, especially because a lot of the young kids were raised on Star Wars and E.T. and all these space movies, and a lot of kids have never seen a Western. I mean, I saw Clint Eastwood Westerns, and he's got one coming out. I hope it comes to see hard. But this is a nice time for like 12 and 13-year-old kids to go and see cowboy movies. I mean, it's neat.
You have a scene that, in a way, I kind of envied, and in another way, I thought, I don't know if I were doing that scene, if I wouldn't be a little frightened. This in the wagon train when you go across the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you felt about that.
Well, it was very cold, and you know, there was stunt people all around, so we were safe.
But was it kind of scary when you felt the wagon going into the water?
Uh-huh. It was pretty scary.
Did you ever feel
like I was gonna fall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just held on tight.
How many times did you have to do that?
God, a lot. Maybe 15.
Take after take?
Mm-hmm.
How come so many times?
Because that's how they do a movie. I mean, to get everything right, they have different camera angles, and you usually have to do take after take after take on everything.
Except Danny Glover only did one take into the river.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough for him. Thank God I didn't have to do that.
Well, Rosanna, it's been fun talking with you.
Nice talking to you.
And I wish you continued success with your career because you are, as they say right now, really hot. So I hope that all works out well for you in this film and also your new one coming out. When might we see that?
October 1st is called After Hours, and I'm excited about that.
And you're a lady of the evening, as they say.
Oh, the After Hours is the one that is Martin Scorsese. That's a different one. That's a black comedy. The one I'm going to start in 3 weeks will probably be out. Who knows? Movies come out so fast nowadays.
Yeah.
Probably maybe spring or next summer.
Okay, well, we'll look for both of them.
Okay.
Thank you, Rosanna. I enjoyed talking with you.
Nice talking to you.
Very nice interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Rolling. Speed.
Which did you do first, Desperately Seeking Susan or this one? Did you get any pressure from a manager or agent saying that, you know, maybe you ought not to take this role in Silverado? What was the big attraction then about doing this role, which you admit is not a big role? The scene where you're crossing the river in the covered wagon, how did you feel about doing that? Was there ever a time when you felt a little insecure? How many takes did you do? Why was it necessary to do so many takes of that? Except Danny Glover, who only went into the river once. You've changed your lifestyle quite a lot in the last year, haven't you? You've talked about having gone through a drug rehab program. Who or what led you into that? Is it now possible for you to be around people using drugs without using them yourself? Do you find that for you, you can have an occasional glass of champagne or? Rosanna, what would you say to real young people, young teenagers, about using drugs and alcohol? I'll just give you reactions now. Okay, thank you.
Okay.